Let's take you to the country's capital now, where the Madlanga Commission has heard that the Hawks descended on the intelligence operation which secured the arrest of businessman and alleged cartel member Katiso Molefe, allegedly under the instruction of National Hawks head, who was at the time General Godfrey Lebeya. That's as witness A detective who worked on the Armand Swart murder case, testified on the alleged interference that followed this high-profile murder case. Today, witness B is expected to take to the witness stand and, of course, also will give testimony from a remote location in an attempt, of course, to conceal their identity. Witness B, also an SABC investigator who is likely to also go deeper into the Armand Swart murder case. Canny Maphnga is our senior reporter who's been keeping a close eye on the Madlanga Commission since it started and joins us now live. And Kenny, yesterday we heard witness B wrap up what ended up being quite an emotional time on the stand, saying that even though doing his job had come at a high price, he'd do it again.
Indeed. Good morning to you, Yanda, and to the viewers at home. We saw witness A conclude their testimony yesterday, and quite an emotional conclusion about the significance of that 6th of July media briefing and how, if he was given the opportunity to do it again, he would. Remember, we're talking about SABC detectives from organized crime whose lives have changed tremendously after they took on this investigation of the murder of Armand Swart, which relates to the alleged blowing of the whistle of QTech, that is his employer, on Transnet contracts that were found to be irregular. Now, we know from the witness A is that what will follow today is that witness B will go on to, finish or close the gaps on the testimony of witness A. Witness A has gone into great lengths to explain the alleged interferences that followed after they were able to link that alleged cartel member, that is Katiso Molefe, to the murder of Armand Swart through the various exhibits and crime scenes, that is 4 crime scenes that they combed through as the investigations team. Of course, when they moved to the intelligence wing, that was when they were ready to swoop in on the property of Katiso Molefe. That happened on the 6th of December 2024. A subsequent search with consent found several documents in the office of Katiso Molefe which were linked to this alleged contract or irregular contract that we saw the company blow the whistle on. Of course, Katiso Molefe had told witness A that this was not his documents, but of his son and his nephew. What becomes more significant about this particular evidence from the starting point of this operation at the home of Katiso Molefe is this alleged interference that would follow, because what we understand is that there was a huge interest from senior members of SABC as well as other units within the South African Police Services into the operations that were taking place at the home of Katiso Molefe. We hear that through the Hawks descending on that property, allegedly on the instruction of the National Hawks head, who at the time was General Godfrey Lebeya, and they were asking questions, demanding answers. We're hearing from witness A that it was unusual for another unit of SABC to have such a great interest into the investigation of the intelligence wing at the time, because that's where the organized crime detectives had moved. His testimony further affirms that this was indeed an operation of intelligence and not of the PKTT, as people had wrongfully believed. And that was Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi's original assertion, that they were there in the Gauteng province to assist the intelligence team, not to initiate the investigation themselves, because that is part of the argument that the PKTT was disbanded for reasons relating to investigations that weren't even in the task team's mandate, but rather something that they were assisting on. Another crucial element to this evidence is the bail proceedings that would follow regarding Katiso Molefe. We're already hearing from witness A about the nature of the offences he was facing. These are 2 different murder cases, although related. So at least we're looking at Schedule 5 or 6 of those criminal offences, which places the onus on the accused to prove that exceptional circumstances permit their release on bail. So what we're understanding now from the evidence given by witness A is that there is this 2022 murder of the popular musician that is DJ Somebody. Katiso Molefe is linked to that particular incident, and of course course, gets released on bail. What will then follow while he's on bail is that he gets arrested for now the murder of Armand Swart, which follows a similar modus operandi. So questions have now arisen as to how a person facing charges of such a serious nature was able to secure bail in now both instances of those cases, and also raises the question of whether Armand Swart would still be here had he been denied bail in the first instance of the DJ Somebody murder. And of course, there's questions about the role of the NPA as to when they saw these determinations by the courts, what role did they play? Did they appeal that particular verdict by the courts? And we're also hearing evidence that a lot of these bail applications that Katiso Molefe was involved in, Witness A alleges that he was told prior to the proceedings that Katiso Molefe would receive that bail. So it's exposing a lot of the alleged flaws in the criminal justice system when you are dealing with individuals that have access to the kind of resources to fight these kind of allegations that they are facing. We expect that Witness B is going to pick up off of these bail proceedings and the kind of evidence that has implicated many role players in the criminal justice system with respect to these alleged criminal cartels. All that and more at 9:30 a.m. when Witness B, who is also a detective who was assigned to this particular murder, takes the stand remotely but will be audible for the nation to hear.